Hey guys, welcome to the Killing the Tea podcast. This is Gare,
And Kate.
and we are going to be discussing all things chills, thrills, and kills. Kate and I are going to be talking about our favorite books, TV shows, and movies that are in the thriller or crime fiction genre, as well as some reading habits and other items related to how we met on Bookstagram that will fit in with this podcast. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have fun and get totally terrified.
So, how was your Christmas?
It was very good. How was yours?
It was very cold and very good. I got some badass leggings for my sister-in-law. She's the best. Shout out to Jamie.
Yeah, my parents killed it this year. I got a mocktail recipe book.
Ooh, that sounds yummy.
I got a cool like book light, like it's like a little wooden book, and when you open it, it becomes like a light. Like the pages
That's what
open.
my nephew got a book light.
Oh my God, really? I have it right here.
Yeah, he's like 8 years old, something like that. And he is reading all the time. He's obsessed with reading. I love it. Oh, it's like a light, not a light to read books with
No,
necessarily.
it's like a book that turns into, oops,
Okay,
a
that's not
light.
what he got, but that is cool. Oh my
It's like magic.
gosh.
I feel like it's like, you know, those like guys that post the thirst traps on TikTok where it's like a dark room and then like all of a sudden they got like
Yes.
a light. If I had a nice body, I would definitely make a TikTok of that, like a bookish thirst trap, but that's not gonna happen. So
That's like the picture I sent you last night when we were watching
no.
Southpaw. And I was telling Tyler, like, I have to get a picture to show Garrett. And at one point, he was like, there's the lighting. And I was like, you're not wrong.
Jake Gyllenhaal, man, not
Oh my
never taking a
gosh.
bad pick. Him and Henry
I don't
Cavill.
think so. I don't think he knows how to.
Mm-mm. Oof, those boys.
Yeah.
So what are you did you read anything over your Christmas break that you like absolutely loved?
Well, I really did love The Villa, which you kind of recommended to me because you had already read it at that point. I thought that
So
was
good.
really fun.
Hmm.
It also kind of has some White Lotus vibes in that like it's like going on a vacation to a tropical location and bad stuff happening.
Hmm.
But I really like the dual timelines. You read a lot more than I did last week.
And some
I
really good.
started I started the Sandman.
How far did you get?
I don't think I'm much farther than when I what I told you earlier today, so I
Hmm.
won't spoil what was happening, but I'm not much farther than that.
So good. You're gonna love it.
I
You are going
know.
to love
I
it.
really do. It feels like watching a movie. It's like it's
Yes.
makes me feel that way again.
That's why I told you, like, make sure Tyler's home when you read the Stalker after this
Yes.
one because they
Hmm.
all of their books feel like a movie, but that one's definitely like the one that gives you like the
The creepiest.
scary vibes.
Yeah.
Um, I recently read The Shards by Bret Easton
Yeah.
Ellis.
Yeah, you told us about it a couple weeks ago.
My God. Yeah, I read it. It's 600 pages and it did not feel like 600 pages. I was completely captivated. It was like coming of age, a little spicy,
Mm-hmm.
um, satire,
Mm.
serial killer. There is animal violence in it. So I will say, like, I did recommend it to a ton of people, but there is animal violence. So,
That is a really good warning.
which usually, oh no, where'd you go?
You
Are you
can't
still
see
there?
me?
No,
I can see you.
it
Oh,
was just the
okay.
update, like a little update thing on Adobe or
Okay.
whatever. My haunted laptop. Um, yes, so animal violence is usually a trigger for me.
Hmm.
With this one, it's more aftermath than anything. It
Yeah.
was still like really like holy crap, that was rough, but the book was fantastic and I can't wait to read it again.
Yeah.
January
Are there,
17th.
can you tell that the animal violence is coming up or does it suddenly happen? Do you think it's something where people could skip over it?
I think that they could, but it's kind of interwoven with things that happen to
Okay.
people. Um, I mean, it's definitely like holy crap, but I don't know. It's also one of those things where um some of it's like really graphic, but then you realize what happened to some of the victims of this serial killer, and you're like, I would have rather been the animal.
Cool. That's
So,
good to
but
know though.
the story was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there is animal violence. The only thing that sucks is I can't tell people what animals were affected because it's a spoiler. Um,
Yeah.
but it's a serial killer story, you know, like serial killers have a pattern, and this one has
Mm-hmm.
the most terrifying pattern that you can have with the heavy breathing phone calls and you noticing things in your house that have been moved or
Mm-hmm.
rearranged, and then an animal death, and then you are brutally murdered in a very horrible and disgusting way. I mean, this is the guy that wrote American Psycho, so I mean, we can't really expect him to, you know,
Yeah.
pitter pat around. But
Like
so yeah,
pull his punches. Yeah.
yeah, that was what I loved. It's a new Bret Easton Ellis. It's in my top 10 favorite books in the
Ever.
entire world ever.
Glowing review.
Mhm.
I'm excited. I requested it. We'll see if I get it, but
Um,
I may just end up buying it because it's January, right?
I may end up just getting it for you
Nice.
because I have some
We'll
ideas
see.
for you.
I haven't checked my email to see if I got any more recently.
I have some ideas for you for things I want to get. So you'll just have
So
to be on your pins and needles.
I know I'm just gonna have to wait in suspense. It's fitting.
Mhm. It's like really weird too because like I read it and I put a bunch of things on my stories about how much I loved it. And
Mm-hmm.
like people were like sliding in my DMs and they were like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to read it." And I'm like, "There's animal violence. I just want to let you know." And they're like, I'm gonna skip it." But the thing that's like kind of like was like weird and annoying to me is he's such a
Mm-hmm.
popular author and it's his first book in like 13 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nobody else that follows me like has read it. So I don't have anyone to talk to about
We need to fix that.
it. So, which is a segue
That's a good segue. That's
into
a perfect one. We're
our
so good. We're so good at those.
so, oh my God, they're so much fun too.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to talk to you about some books that you've read that you were like, okay, this is not getting enough love on Book
Mm-hmm.
Talk, Instagram,
Yeah.
anywhere. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
we've all read and discussed like The Girl on the Train, Gone Girl,
The woman in the
those
window.
the woman in the window. We've all like talked about those and like celebrated. And yeah, it's like really exciting when, you know,
Hmm.
you read something like that and it just kind of blows up. But like,
Yeah.
have you read any books where you were like, that was phenomenal, amazing, 10 out of 5 stars, and then like you realize that it's not getting as much love as it should?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a few. So when you asked, I was like, this is gonna be so fun to go find them. Because there are some out there.
there's always one I feel like a year that I'm like obsessed with, in love with, and it
Mm-hmm.
like sneaks up on me because it might not have been on my radar or like not a lot of people
Yeah.
talked about it and I just like gave it a shot.
Yeah.
Um and then, you know, you just find those like hidden gems
Mm-hmm.
that you just absolutely love. And you're
Yes.
like, everybody in the world needs to love this.
Mm-hmm.
So
At
these are
least
by
need to
far
know
not
about it.
like, I'm not calling these books like flops. I'm not
No. Oh, no, no,
saying
no.
that, you know, that they're like, that they underperform sales wise or anything like that. So, like, if your book is discussed tonight, like,
Oh,
just know
yeah.
that this is like, these are just the books that I wish had, like,
Made it more to the mainstream.
had that Gone Girl, that Girl on the Train, the Woman in the
Mm-hmm.
Window effect where like everybody read them,
Yeah.
and like loved them because, you know, whether it's, let's be honest, the past few years that books have come out, it's been kind of rough for
Yeah.
people with, you know, the pandemic and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So these are just some books that I think deserve a little extra love.
Yeah.
just like my Kate the Great. I just love to
Oh.
give her a little extra love. Because to all of you watching on YouTube right now, Homegirl is poppin'. You need a Beyonce fan because you look
I do.
gorgeous.
I actually, of course, have a fan in here because I get hot when I dry my hair. So I
Well, I've
guess I
already
could
told
turn it
you,
on.
but you look absolutely fucking stunning.
Oh, thank you.
My gorgeous
Haircuts can just
co-host.
change it all up.
I'm sorry that I was
I
late
know, and
tonight,
you
but
just got one.
I just got my hair cut, and
Mm-hmm.
man, nothing makes me feel like I can take on the world. Even though I only like socialize like one day a week, I'm like,
Yes.
that is gonna be
That's enough for me.
my time to shine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you want to hear my first one?
You're fucking right, I do. I want to hear
Cool.
all of them. I'm so pumped.
I am too. Because I also hope that I actually add even more books to my list from your list now. But we'll see. We'll see if we may have some crossover, but I don't know.
I have
My first,
six instead
you
of
have
five
six. That's
because
okay.
I have one that I expect you to either I have one that I expect you to either say, and if neither one of us says it by the end, then it's a bonus one that
Nice.
recommend on behalf of both of us.
I love that. Like now everyone has to make sure they listen to part two and hear the ending.
Yeah.
um, so my first one that I thought of is Made for Love by Alyssa Nutting. So I was a little bit torn on this one if I could count it because it is a TV series on HBO Max. It did get adapted. So
Okay.
obviously it's kind of in the mainstream, but like I also don't see it ever on Book Talk or Bookstagram. Like I don't see it talked about really.
No, that completely works. There's so many books that I've like heard about, and people are like, "Did you
Mm-hmm.
watch the movie or the show?" And I'm like, I didn't even know about the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. So because the first season came out a couple years ago and I watched it and was like, this is amazing. And then of course every time I watch a show, I'm Googling a million things about it. And then I saw it was a book and I was like, oh, so the book description, and there are some differences, actual like notable differences between the book and the TV show. The book description though is Hazel has just moved into a trailer park of senior citizens with her father and Diane, his sex doll companion. Life with Hazel's father is strained at best, but it's got to be better than her marriage to dominating tech billionaire Byron Gogol. For over a decade, Hazel has been quarantining in Byron's family compound, her every movement and vital sign tracked. So when Byron demands to wirelessly connect the two of them via brain chips, turning Hazel into a human guinea pig, she makes a run for it. Will Hazel be able to free herself from Byron's virtual clutches before he finds her? Sci-fi, very much like a dark comedy sci-fi book.
it's the
Her
perfect segue
humor,
from the Bret Easton Ellis conversation, I feel like.
right?
Because correct me if I'm wrong, she's the
Mm-hmm.
one that also wrote Tampa. Is that correct?
Yes, she wrote Tampa.
And I hear
She
that's
has
very
this
controversial.
absurd sense of humor that is just so cool. Like the show cracked me up so much because like she got to kind of continue the story with the show, and there's so much funny commentary on like our obsession with technology, what we do with technology. I love that cover. That cover's amazing.
We might have to. Have you read this?
I haven't read that one. I remember like when it came out and I was just like, I don't know, like
Possible
I
buddy
don't know if
read.
I'll
I
like
don't
it.
know. I'll put
Have
it in
you
the
read it?
pile. No.
Okay, yeah, I didn't either. I've always known about it. And she's really a talented writer, so it'd probably be funny is what I'm thinking. But basically this book and the TV show, which it's very similar. It's just for the sake of making it multiple seasons, they change a few things.
Mhm.
Um, just like really hilarious commentary on our obsession with technology and also like what that means if an egomaniac could pair your brains together and like know everything about you. And it's just great. Lots of action too. And it's just the quirkiest book I think it's the quirkiest book I've ever read, and I love it.
That is a very good endorsement. I'm
Yeah.
I'm really pumped. I added it to my wish list.
It's like, and it's not sci-fi in that you have to like think about, it's not like explaining stuff. It's just that you're in the future where technology is a little more advanced.
I'm like a pro now, okay?
I know.
I wrote an article for She Reads today on
Uh-huh.
my lunch break, and I included an update on the Dark Matter series. So I wrote a
Nice.
little bit about sci-fi today.
I love it.
You
I'm
would have
bringing
been
you over.
so proud of me.
You took me
Um,
to Nordic noir, and I'm bringing you to the land of sci-fi.
yeah, right. Um, well, that's awesome. I
Hmm.
have heard of her because Tampa is very controversial.
Yes.
Um, but now I'm excited for this, and I'm even more excited that there's a TV show.
Yeah. And it's really good, and it's 30-minute episodes.
I just finished the second season of The Sex Lives of College Girls last night.
You have been raving about that.
It's one of the best shows in the entire world. I watched the first season like 3 or 4 times.
Oh my gosh. I have so much to watch.
You will absolutely. Okay, so like we've had this discussion,
Hmm.
but like I am just so like I'm sure a lot of people are on the internet. I'm just so wrapped up in the Idaho quadruple homicide of those four
Hmm.
college kids that sometimes I
Yes.
need something to read that's not super dark or watch something that's not super dark. I
Hmm.
even tried to watch Black Christmas the other night and I only got through half of it because I was like, oh my God, I'm getting scared. Getting scared.
You're freaking yourself out.
Freaking myself out. My friend Nicole is also very invested in this case, so we'll send each
Mm.
other like news updates on TikTok, people's like theories on TikTok, things like that. And the reason I think that I'm like freaked out, like I said, I'm a 35-year-old man. I am not that exciting. Nobody really wants to kill me. Like, even if I was like begging for it. So the thing is that their house is like set up weird and the layout to my house is weird.
Yeah.
Um, but they believe that the person that did it broke in through a sliding glass door on the second floor of the house. And I have a sliding glass door on the second floor of my house. So like that's half the reason. But the other night, scrolling through TikTok, and I forgot to lock my door, my sliding glass door. And like woke
Ooh.
up the next morning and like realized it. And I like texted my friend Nicole and I was like, you're never going to guess what I did or didn't do,
It
basically.
didn't do, yeah.
And I was reprimanded. Like she was
Oh,
not impressed. So I learned a lesson. And
might
then I
be
watched the
time to get those cameras.
College Lives of Sex Girls. Or no, The Sex Lives of College
There we
Girls.
go. College lives of
I
sex
did that to
girls.
my friend Cindy on Marco Polo last night. I was like, I finished the College Lives of Sex Girls, and she's like, that's not the name of the show.
Oh my gosh.
I
That's
don't know
like
what's going on in my brain.
the did you watched Real Housewives of Beverly Hills this season, right?
I wish I didn't, but yes, I did.
That was like the homeless, not toothless, when they kept mixing that up. They're like toothless, not homeless.
I've worked with the homeless. I've worked with the toothless.
Oh my god, that one was
That's
so
so
funny
funny.
and so bad.
Oh my God, it's so funny. But anyway, yeah, that's my recommendation. The
Hmm.
Sex Lives of College Girls. 2 seasons on HBO Max, and they just renewed it for a third one. So
Is it? It's more funny. It's kind of like a funny drama. Are they 30-minute episodes? Do you
30-minute
remember?
episodes,
Okay.
very funny. Um, Mindy Kaling is like
Wrote
one of
it or
the
produced it?
perhaps both, but
I think both.
it definitely has that sense of humor. It's just the best. I mean, it's so good. It's so good. Um, so yeah,
I keep
that's my
getting what is her name? I keep getting Renee Rapp in my TikTok feed singing. Have you heard her sing? She's amazing.
She's my favorite character in the show.
Oh, I really need to watch. I'm adding it
You
to
would
my
you will
list.
you
Not
will
that I'm
love
gonna
it.
forget it.
You will absolutely love it. Um, there's eye candy, there's comedy, there's just like drama and so much comedy, and it's like a good sense of humor too. It's not
I
like,
love that.
so that's one of my
I need
recommendations.
my shows like that too, because like I just haven't been as into reality TV for the moment. And so then when I do want to watch
Same.
something that's not thrilling, now I know what I'm going to watch.
I know I always say this, but like I will watch it with you. Like I will rewatch it. I've
Yeah.
watched the first season like 3 or 4 times because it's just like if you want something that you don't have to like think a lot about, or
Hmm.
you just want to be like entertained, or you want like something that's like lighter and funny, like it's just perfect. It is
Yeah.
perfect.
I
And then when you're
love
done with
that.
that, you can watch Pretty Little Liars Original Sin.
I did watch that one right around the time that we started recording because you recommended it. That one was really good.
Yeah, second season is going to be Summer School.
I'm so excited. I
Gonna be
can't, do you
awesome.
remember when it comes out? Is it a summer show? I bet.
I don't know if they I think they announced like what the second season is, but they haven't like said. I
Oh,
think it was
okay.
like fall, summer or
Okay.
fall like last year, um but yeah, so I have a book that has also been adapted,
Nice.
but like they're completely separate. So
Mm.
obviously with the success and popularity of Scream in the 90s, there were
Uh-huh.
a ton of slasher movies that came out around that time because
Mm-hmm.
of its success. So you had like I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend.
Mm-hmm.
There was one called Valentine, and it had Denise Richards in it and David Boreanaz.
Oh, nice.
And the movie was like entertaining, but it was nothing special, and people like demolished it in like reviews. Like they were just like,
Ooh.
oh. So, but it's based on a book, but it's like they're completely separate. Basically, the people that made the movie were like, we only bought the rights to the book because we wanted to use the name Valentine.
Okay.
So I read the book, and it is one of my favorite books that I have ever read in my entire life. It is called Valentine by Tom Savage. And it is about a woman named Jillian who is a best-selling author of suspense novels. She lives in Greenwich Village. She has like close friends, a new fiance, like the perfect life. Um, but now somewhere lurking in the shadows of New York City, someone is stalking her. Um, and this person is leaving her messages on her answering machine, leaving notes in her mailbox, and even gifts on her doorstep. So like this person is a like full-fledged stalker, and they're
Yeah.
all signed Valentine.
Whoa.
And things kind of escalate as the story goes on. Um, and as the story progresses, you get closer and closer to Valentine's Day in the story's timeline, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the big finale. So it's like anxiety the entire time you're reading it because
Yeah.
creepy things are happening to her. And
Yeah.
also, like, you're getting like days and days closer to like Valentine's Day, and you're like, oh
Oh my
shit, like
gosh.
the guy that's, leaving her messages signed Valentine has something big planned for February 14th.
That sounds amazing. I just
It is
added it
so
to my
good.
list. It is also a Kindle Unlimited book for anyone who has that.
Mm-hmm. I have it on my Kindle. I have a paperback copy, and
Mm-hmm.
I even have the old mass market paperback
Oh
from
my
like
gosh.
2000 when it
Mm-hmm.
has the sticker on it that says like soon to be a major motion picture.
Oh my
So
gosh.
when I
That's
say like
so
I
cool.
love this story, I mean I
Yeah.
love this story. The twists in it, so
Mm-hmm.
good. But yeah, it is like one of my favorite stories. And I think I'm also going to give it credit for being the story that like made me love thrillers, especially
Whoa.
stalker stories.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You've
It has a
also
big, big time.
now given us TV or movies or books that are slasher and holiday themed for Halloween, Christmas, and Valentine's Day now,
And 4th of July.
and 4th of July.
I know what you did last
Now we
summer's
need
4th of
a
July.
St. Patrick's Day thriller
St.
or
Patrick's Day.
slasher.
I, you know what I was thinking about? This is so freaking weird. I listened to like our episodes during
Uh-huh.
work,
Yeah.
and I was thinking of doing some sort of theme like that
Mm-hmm.
because you had talked about the Sherry Lapina book,
Mm-hmm. Not a happy
and
family.
yes, and how it
Mm-hmm.
took place after Easter dinner.
Yeah, you're right.
And I was like, what an interesting holiday to choose.
Yeah, you're right.
So that is very weird
That's a
that
good
you,
point. Because it's
yes.
like there are some books that just have like a strange holiday that are in them. And you're kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah. Halloween is popular, obviously.
yeah.
Um, I
I don't
think
really
there's like
watch
you don't watch
Christmas
what?
movies. Christmas
Oh.
movies.
Just-
I know you
my
you
heart
about
stopped.
I about killed you.
Um,
I
I
about
know because I was
killed.
thinking about our conversation, and like even
Uh-huh.
though Christmas is over, I think that you will
Hmm.
still get a huge thrill out of the original Black Christmas
I
movie.
know. I found it. It's on Paramount and we have that so we can watch it on there.
I hope
No,
it's
I
the
just need to do it.
1974 one.
It is.
I don't want
I
anyone to
like
watch the
started it too to make
2006.
sure.
Oh, and it had that opening with like you can tell it's like old with like the Black
Yes.
Christmas font in the house.
Yes.
That's when you
Yes.
know you're in for a friggin' treat.
That it
You are in
might
for.
be. I mean, I don't know if there are any other movies from the 70s that I've seen. Might be the first one.
Have you ever seen the original Halloween?
Okay, then you're right. Duh. I've
Yeah,
seen that one. I don't think I've seen many others.
Friday the 13th. No, that was
Mm-mm.
1980.
I haven't seen that one either. I just know about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have fun this
Not
winter,
the
you and
original
I.
one. I feel like I saw. No, I'm thinking of something else. So yeah. It were what?
We're
I
gonna
just
have a
tripped
ton of
myself out.
fun.
Yeah. With your
Yeah.
movie Rex.
Oh my God, yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want something as good as Prisoners again.
I was just gonna say that, like, the fact that both you and Tyler liked it.
We're obsessed.
Hmm.
Tyler's not.
An
It made
ambulance.
Tyler want to watch more movies.
Oh my God.
I
It's
know.
it's like I'm like the Kate and Tyler whisperer.
You are. You
God, you
are.
need to like start doing weird stuff so your neighbors get creeped out and move out so I can just move in next door.
I'm down. I'll push her out.
Paint like a what's that like witch thing? It's like round with like a star in it.
I know what you're talking about.
Pentagram?
I think so.
Yeah, do
That
like
might.
weird like witchy things.
Yeah. Go
Make the
dance
Blair Witch
during the
dolls.
full moons. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can,
Yep.
I mean, or we can just build a house somewhere that has our little library in the back, like that TikTok I sent you.
Oh my God.
And then I can have a basement because I love the darkness.
I want one of those houses that's like two houses, but it has like the
Like a breezeway
yeah,
connecting, or like a whatever those are called.
sky bridge.
Sky bridge. There
Yep.
we go. I don't know why I said breezeway. I think that's in a house.
Well, we'll have the biggest breezeways,
I
sky bridge,
know.
whatever. But yeah,
Oh, it'd be so
okay.
fun. We'll make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We will. Well, do you want to hear one of my other books?
I would love to.
I know I was like leaning in, leaning into New York. uh, well, actually, This book takes place in New York.
Oh,
So this one is Firstborn by Will Dean. It came out this year, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, in April. I really loved it. And the description says Molly Raven likes a quiet, structured life in London, finding comfort in security and routine. Her identical twin, Katie, living in New York, is the exact opposite, outgoing, spontaneous, and adventurous. But when Molly hears that Katie has died, possibly murdered, she's thrown into unfamiliar territory. As terrifying as it is, she knows she must travel across the ocean to find out what happened. But as she tracks her twin's final movements, cracks begin to emerge, and she slowly realizes her sister was not who she thought she was. And there's a dangerous web of deceit surrounding the two of them.
I love that
Like,
book.
I thought it was so good. There are multiple reveals that were really cool. It's just like a really good suspenseful psychological thriller.
I also love to kind of like Watcher, where you
Mm-hmm.
have somebody that's like dealing with a high stress,
Yeah.
suspenseful situation like that in
Mm-hmm.
an area that they're not familiar with.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like you said, like she's from London and now she's in New York City and like all this like shit is
And
hitting the
she's like
fan.
never acted like her sister before.
Yeah. So I loved that book and I totally agree
Yeah.
with you. It did not get enough hype.
I know. I
So
really loved
twisty.
it.
Did you read The Last One to Burn?
No, I
So
need to.
good. Yeah, I actually enjoyed it more than,
Yeah, this was the first book I
yeah,
read of
Last
his.
One to Burn, I think it's called.
Okay. I'm pulling it up. I'll add
Yeah,
it as well.
very good.
Last thing to burn.
Last Thing to Burn.
Nice. That looks really good.
Yeah, it's so good. I think you will absolutely love it.
Yeah, I really liked first one a lot.
Yeah, yeah, that was a really good one. It kind of reminded me of like um her last fear.
Her every fear.
Nothing like recommending a bunch of shit and getting every single title wrong.
I can never remember the characters. I'm like, so the main character and then her friend.
Yeah.
It is like that one though, because there's like one of those big paradigm shifts where you're like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I think that that one is fantastic. I
I
really
loved
enjoyed
it.
that one. I
I think I
think that
read it in like an afternoon.
I was gonna say his book both because that was the second book I'd read by him.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them I think I read in like an afternoon. Like they were
Yeah.
just very quick and there was no like I hate to say the word filler, but like there was nothing
Yeah.
where like the storyline like bogged down or I was like, okay, like let's get back to the action. Like it was just all very, very, very like he's phenomenal at pacing.
Mm-hmm. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed both of the books that I've read by him. I think I want to say he has maybe a series.
I'm looking. Dark Pines, Tuva
Yes.
Mudison.
I've heard fantastic things about them.
Somehow I did not catch that for how
Fantastic
much I
things about
just
that series.
raved about him.
Yeah. So, but you know, we love series. So,
I know. I just started another one though. So I'll get to Tuva.
I think that you'll be caught up to Junalina by like February 1st, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I
I
think
can't
you're gonna fly
remember.
through them.
Is
You
it?
flew through the Chestnut Man.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So I think you're gonna fly through these.
I know. I don't want to put it down.
Yeah. And I think that they like keep getting better.
I'm really excited for Watcher. I wanted or Stalker. Whew, both of us today. I really wanted to read that one, but I know you said I had to start with Sandman, so I did. And
Yes.
I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all like tug at your heartstring,
Oh,
scare the shit out of you, and just
the meme I shared today. Like absolutely wreck you.
oh my god, yeah. Yeah. You're gonna be like, God damn it. And then like 2 seconds later, you're gonna be like, loved it. Um, speaking of wrecking people,
Go on.
The Long and Faraway Gone by Lou Berney is a book that I've talked about a couple of
Mm-hmm.
times on here. But like the fact that it's just not something that like people are like, this is one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life.
Yeah.
When you ask people what the best book they've ever read, it like mind boggles me. Um, it is one of my favorite books in the entire world. It's emotional, it's like noir, it's mysterious, it's suspenseful, it's amazing. Um, it's about the summer in 1986 in Oklahoma City. 6 movie theater employees were killed in an armed robbery with one survivor. Um, the same night, a teenage girl went missing from the state fair, and neither crime was either ever solved. So 25 years later, the unsolved cases quietly echo through the survivors' lives. Wyatt is a private investigator in Vegas who is being taken back to a past that he's been trying to escape. Um, and he is the survivor from the armed robbery at the movie theater.
Mm.
Um, when he returns home, he meets Juliana, who is struggling with her past as well because her sister is the one who disappeared at the state fair. So they basically join forces to try to get to the bottom of what happened during the robbery and if it was connected to her sister's disappearance,
Mm-hmm.
or solve these cases to finally put these like demons that are haunting them from their past to bed,
Yeah.
for any hope of resolution.
Yeah, that sounds powerful.
It is so freaking good.
I
So
know.
good. I read it probably 10 years ago and I still like think about it often
Yeah.
because I was so invested in the mystery and the suspense aspect that there's like something at the very tail end of the book,
Mm-hmm.
and I like read it and like put the book down and was like, I went from being like, oh my God, this book is so good, like Gone Girl, like, oh my God, I can't put it
Ooh.
down, to being like, I am fucking depressed now. Like,
Of course,
I
of
was
course.
like, wow, like that just hit me full on in the chest.
We were watching a movie this week that had a happy ending, and I was like, you can tell Gare didn't recommend this one.
I just love a bleak. I don't know if it's like I love a bleak ending or if
Mhm.
the movies and the books and the shows and stuff with bleak endings are just more
Are that
effective.
good? That's a
Like,
really good point.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I don't know if like that's what it is or if I'm just like I want to be emotionally tortured. But
I think it's a little of both.
what was the movie?
Southpaw. I was just saying it that way so that
Mm-hmm.
it didn't feel like a spoiler to anyone.
I
But
think
I
a lot of
mean,
movies have like,
that was where I was torn. I was like trying to think as I was saying it. I was like, but don't you expect a boxing movie to have a generally happy ending?
I will say The Hating Game, we talked about that recently with Lucy
Oh
Hale in it,
yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
how much I love that movie, and that movie has a happy ending,
You're right. You're
you
right.
know? So,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just, you know what? I can't tell you why I love the ending to this book until you read it. So we'll
I
continue
know.
this
Now I need
conversation another
you
time.
really made me want to read this one.
I do want to reread it though, so you'll have to let me know when you read it because I have been dying to read it again.
Okay.
So if you pick it up, I think it would be something that you and I would have a very good time discussing while we were reading it.
Nice. Let's do it.
Because all
Maybe.
I really remember is the thing that like smashed my heart into a million pieces.
Oh, well, smash away.
As long as we're in it together.
I can handle it. I can handle it. I really did think that I could handle difficult endings until I met you. And I still can, but like they do wreck me. Like I had
Ah,
a mountain of tissues when I read
soulmates.
so many of these books.
Soulmates.
Yeah, it's good. But I
Mhm.
really want to read this one now. You've really got me sold on it.
It's kind of like it reminds me of um The Night Shift by Alex Finlay.
It was the beginning was reminding me of that.
It's kind of like that. It's just like a little bit more like darker,
Seems
like
more
noir.
emotional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's fantastic. So